Hi, I'm Pete Clark from the Autism Info Centre. Today we're looking at autistic special interests. We'll be exploring what these deep, driving passions are and why they're so much more than just a casual hobby for autistic people. Understanding this is incredibly important because these intense interests are a vital tool for reducing stress, building expertise, and bringing immense joy. Have you ever been so completely absorbed in something that actually the rest of the world just seems to disappear altogether? For many autistic people, this state of deep focus is a regular and essential part of life. So, today I'm going to talk about these passions, which we call special interests. And as we go along, I'll explain what makes them so unique, the incredible benefits they bring, and I'll share some practical ways to help support these interests respectfully. So, what exactly is a special interest? And isn't having a hobby just something everyone does? Well, while lots of people have hobbies they enjoy, um, a special interest for an autistic person is typically far more intense and all encompassing. It's a subject or an activity that the person feels a very strong passion for. They often want to learn everything they can about it, and they spend a great deal of time thinking about it or engaging with that hobby. When an autistic person is engaged with their special interest, they can enter a state of deep focus, which we call hyperfocus. So, what hyperfocus means is concentrating so hard on one thing that you naturally block out all other distractions, making the outside world seem to fade away. For me personally, I forget to eat, I forget to drink. When I'm focused, I'm focused. That is hyperfocus. It's often a fundamental way for autistic people to regulate their emotions, to cope with daily stress, and to experience profound happiness and satisfaction. So, what kind of things can a special interest be? Well, the simple answer is almost anything you can imagine. The diversity of these things is as wide as the autism spectrum itself. There are absolutely no limits on what can capture the intense focus of an autistic person. So, some interests might be on very common topics, while others could be wonderfully niche and unique. So, for example, many autistic people are drawn to rule based and logical systems. That can lead to deep interests in role playing games, mathematics, computer science, physics, engineering, just about anything like that. An intense interest might also, though, be focused on a specific topic. So it's a bit of a cliche, but I mean, it could be anything from dinosaurs or space travel to historical periods or meteorology or climate science, anything. For others, again, their interest might involve collecting things. They might meticulously collect and catalogue things like stamps, coins, figurines, butterflies, anything that can be collected. Some of them are even a bit more unusual, like bottle tops or vintage sewing machines. So these creative pursuits are incredibly common. Many autistic people have a deep passion for the arts, including music, painting, creative writing, or animation, for example. Um, a classic example is a fascination with transportation. Many people love vehicles, such as trains or buses or aeroplanes, and they often build up an encyclopedic knowledge of their mechanics and their timetables and their routes and their history, everything you can think of. It really doesn't matter what the special interest is, but what truly matters is the joy and the expertise and the sense of purpose it brings to you. So far from being a trivial distraction or just a regular hobby, these special interests offer a huge range of benefits that can actually make an autistic person's life better in many different ways. First and foremost, engaging with a special interest is a source of great pleasure and contentment. It's a reliable way to feel calm and relaxed, and it provides a very welcome escape from a world that can often be stressful and overwhelming. The other thing about these passions is they're also a wonderful pathway to expertise. Um, by that I mean the intense focus and passion that autistic people can apply to their interests means they become genuine experts in their chosen field. And that deep knowledge is a remarkable strength and it can be a huge source of confidence. Pursuing an interest like that also helps to develop transferable skills. For example, a person might improve their reading and research skills by learning about their topic, or they might develop fine motor skills by building models or creating art. Did you know that special interests can also be a brilliant bridge to personal connections and relationships? They can actually be a wonderful and natural way to connect with other people with similar interests. So, by joining a club or an online forum or a community group based on that shared interest, it provides a very comfortable context for social interaction, which is something autistic people often don't get enough of. So, that makes it much easier to form genuine, lasting friendships. The other thing about these passions is they can create pathways to education and employment. For many autistic people, their lifelong passion can eventually become their career. A special interest in computers, for example, could lead to a job in computer programming or IT support. A fascination with history could lead to working in a museum or perhaps a library. A deep love for animals could easily lead to a career in animal care. So, in my daily role as a social care support worker, I see firsthand that finding practical ways to help someone thrive often starts with simply embracing their passions, the thing they care most about. So, how can we support and respect these special interests in our daily lives? Supporting an autistic person's special interest is one of the most powerful ways to show that you value and respect them for exactly who they are. You can start by showing genuine interest. Take the time to listen carefully when a person wants to talk about their passion. Ask them questions and allow them to share their extensive knowledge with you. This can be a main way in which they can connect with others. It's also crucial that you don't dismiss or belittle their interests. I've often heard it said, "Oh, you're autistic. Does that mean you like trains?" Well, no, it doesn't. Remember, it's a spectrum. Even if an interest seems a bit unusual to you, remember it's deeply meaningful to that person. So you should always avoid making fun of it or dismissing it as something trivial. You should also aim to integrate those interests into their support and care rather than try to suppress them. It's crucial not to try to quash or excessively limit a person's special interest because that can cause significant distress because it removes a vital coping mechanism. So instead, try to find healthy, practical ways to encourage and integrate their passion into their daily life. And finally, you can use their special interests as a fantastic learning tool. They can be a brilliant gateway for learning new things. So, for example, if a child's passion is dinosaurs, you can connect their reading lessons directly into that topic. That makes learning more fun because it involves something they're interested in. It makes it more engaging and it makes it more effective. So, special interests definitely aren't a phase, they're not an obsession to be discouraged. They are the core of a person's interests. They are vibrant, they're an incredibly valuable part of the whole autistic experience and identity. They're a source of joy, they're a pathway to expertise, they're a tool for managing environment, for anxiety, they're a tool for interacting with an environment, they're a brilliant bridge for connecting with other people. So, by celebrating these passions and this expertise, hopefully we'll be supporting autistic in being their most authentic, their most knowledgeable, and their happiest selves. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe now on YouTube and follow Autism Info Centre on social media, or visit autisminfocentre.org on the web for free autism news and articles, books, videos, podcasts, resources and courses. See you in the next video.